Hello, 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 beautiful people. I am back and so very excited to be back with you. It has been 3 long weeks since we had an opportunity to get back on this platform, and then I got to be here with you live, and I'm excited. I have been looking forward to it. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, I'm Leah Murphy. I'm the CEO of Career Gems for the Journey, where we help talented professionals build thriving careers. And you are here with me live because you want to grow in some capacity in your career, and I'm here for it. So I want to make sure if anybody is here and in the room that you drop your city in the comments. That way I can shout you out. I know who's here with me. I know this is my first live back after a long hiatus, a long vacation of 3 weeks. It was an amazing time away, but I'm excited to be back. If you guys hear about what I did during my time away, I could certainly go into that on another live. Just drop the word vacation in the comments and I will give you an update. I was out of the country for in Central America for the majority of the time that I was away, and it was soul nourishing. It was so amazing. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later on in the live, but if you are interested in more details or more specifics, you can drop vacation in the live and I'll be happy to DM you and we can talk about why I made the choice to go to that location and what the experience was like. So now I want to make sure we have an opportunity to get into the content. We closed out the last time we were together with a really just thoughtful approach to navigating the Triumph in the Trenches, the award winner for the Triumph Together Challenge in Akita Neely. And I had such a great experience. I had so much fun just doing that challenge and going through 11 weeks of navigating that book, that piece of work with my co-authors. I learned so much. I grew so much during the experience. And then to have a winner who participated with us all the way through the challenge and then came on to join us live. If you didn't see that, please do drop into previous lives. You can find that on LinkedIn or you can find it on our YouTube channel. And that was a great experience. So we went off on a really high. We went off on a real high, not a really high, on a real high. I personally did. So I'm excited that you guys are back with me this week and we will stay at this time. We'll be at Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern time for as long as it makes sense. As long as it makes sense for you, as long as it makes sense for us. But we also have the benefit of the replay, and the replay has been such an amazing additional resource for folks to be able to treat it like it's more like podcast mode, and you can take advantage of that replay. It's available 24 hours right after we go live. So now, I was completely honest with you that when we came back to this platform, to YouTube Live as well as LinkedIn Live, we were going to have a completely new set of content to be able to discuss because the Triumph in the Trenches energy was amazing. And I really wanted to follow that up with something that was equally as compelling and equally as valuable to you. So you guys will know if you've been with me for a while, that value is the reason why I come to this platform, the reason why I try to be so consistent here and show up for you all is because I believe there's something of value that you can take away from this experience. And I want to do the same. I feel like this is a beneficial relationship that we're in here. You guys push me, you ask great questions, you give me the opportunity to tap into years of coaching experience and expertise and bring that to you. And then you also really show up. So I want this to continue to be a mutually beneficial relationship. You guys know I talk about that a lot. So many of us have been watching the Olympics, right? And I'm absolutely one of the people who are watching the Olympics. And I know that there are some folks who are not sports girlies or not sports people. And I understand. I don't even think about the Olympics as sports in themselves. I think about the Olympics as a demonstration of what absolute greatness looks like in a physical form. So I think about the Olympics as a demonstration of greatness. And as someone who is inspired by greatness, the Olympics has been filling my cup up so much, filling my cup up on a regular basis. You know, we've been having tons of watch parties in our house where our whole family is on the couch watching a particular activity in the Olympics, whether it's track and field, and I mean field, like we're watching long jump, we're watching triple jump, we're watching shot put, we're watching the Olympics, or whether it's gymnastics, which you know we have to talk about, or whether it's swimming. So there are other activities and other sports that are also being participated in, but there's just so much greatness in watching the Olympics, watching these people who have invested so much time, effort, and energy into perfecting their craft and then demonstrating that perfection or demonstrating that hard work on a huge stage. And there are some triumphs that are amazing and people are having, being favored going into it. And then there are some folks who don't get exactly what they want from the equation, and we can see their disappointment. So, what's your point, Leah? Why are you telling this story? So, the reason why the Olympics have been so compelling to me, especially in this 2024 Olympics, is because I see so many parallels in the work that athletes do in order to prepare themselves to be in the right position for Olympic greatness or for Olympic participation as our aligning to our careers and the way that we think about careers, the way that we strategize what success will look like in our careers. So I have a couple takeaways this week specifically tied to the Olympics and tied to your career that I think are going to be absolutely impactful for you. So I want you to hang in here with me because I'm going to bring it all the way home. I think you already are, getting some sense of, yeah, it is quite amazing to see people get their due after all their hard work. But I wanted to take a step back and say, I am super excited and proud of each one of the athletes for even making it to the Olympic level. Like, we have to be honest with ourselves when we navigate into these brand new spaces and we work hard and do all of the investment, all of the training, all of the conditioning to get into the spaces, that itself is a success. So I hear people talk about, I want to grow my career and I want to, get to a vice president level and I want to maybe run a business or maybe I want to be a CEO. And I love the ambition. I love the intention behind it. And I love the words that go with that because it takes starting small to get to somewhere big. But I want to make sure that we pause and take an opportunity to acknowledge that we even got into the organization that we were choosing, that we took an opportunity, put ourselves in a position to win, to be successful. And now we got that job that we were looking for. We got into the organization, we got into the school, got into the university, got into the trade program, got into the certification, whatever it was. I think a lot of time we celebrate absolutely the pinnacle and all of the winners. But for me, I wanted to celebrate, man, these people actually made it to the Olympics. They got there. How many of us never even put ourselves in a position to be able to get to the organization we want to work with out of our own fear or self-doubt, or we feel like there's a lack of access for us? So huge, huge shout out to anybody who is not exactly where they want to be, but they see their progress from where they came. And they're continually doing the work to put themselves in a position to be able to win. Because that is an unsung victory that I really wanted to pull out from this Olympic experience. So even if you haven't finished the degree yet, but you're in your first or second semester, kudos to you. Even if you haven't finished the certification yet, but you're in week 1 of your preparation and training, shout out to you. Even if you're not at the level or title that you believe you want to be at, but you're in the door and you're making progress in that direction, shout out to you. I think we spend a lot of time really celebrating greatness, and I absolutely love it. But greatness only comes from taking the first step and putting ourselves in a position to be able to achieve greatness. And that first step really matters, and it's worth celebrating and acknowledging. So for me, just seeing people arrive at the Olympics, just seeing people line up against their peers in order to put themselves in a position to get to the semifinal and the final, I'm so proud. My heart bursts with joy knowing how far they must have come for years and years of hard work and dedication and years of investment. And let's be honest, there's very, very few of us that can say we were Olympians. Even them arriving to the Olympics is literally an amazing feat in human capability. So when I think about you arriving to the organization, starting your own business, navigating your own career is an amazing feat. There are so many people who have not been able to achieve what you've been able to achieve up until this point today. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you have to set all your ambitions aside. And I want to encourage you to coast. I'm not encouraging you to coast or to settle. I'm encouraging you to celebrate your now. to be celebratory of your now, to give yourself an opportunity to enjoy the success that you've already achieved so that you can position yourself to be available for absolute greatness in the future. So that is my Olympic takeaway. And that is what I wanted to make sure I share at the top for each and every one of you. Because it's not lost on me that there are several hundreds of people that didn't make it. And those people that don't make it into the organization, into the program, into the certification, into the university, into the degree, into the organization that you're looking for, whether it's in corporate, whether it's in academia, whether it's in government, whether it's in nonprofit leadership, there's several people who didn't make it. So I want to encourage you to give yourself an opportunity to celebrate your now as you're preparing for that next level. And then we have to talk about just the level of coverage that we're seeing for folks who are in the Olympics. And the coverage is coming from all over the world. There's media, there's cameras, there are press everywhere. And I'm watching all of these athletes who are navigating their success or their failure, and they're having to do it so publicly. They're having to do it in front of cameras or with a camera 2 feet away from them. Even athletes who are in their preparation, maybe they're warming up, maybe they're taking a mental break to meditate and to center themselves, and there's a camera right in their face trying to catch it. Now, I don't blame the athletes for this. We are a media consumption company, right? I'm sitting in front of a camera today, so I'm not in any way saying that the process is worth destroying. But I think about the eyes that are constantly driving us and the eyes that of people who are watching, who are around us. And sometimes the people who are watching us, those cameras, sometimes those people on the other side of the camera are doubters. Sometimes they don't believe in us. Sometimes they are not even our fan, but they're watching. The camera is there. So some people are there to watch you, to see you be successful, to cheer you on, to motivate you, to encourage you, to give you words of encouragement, and to laud upon you praise. And other people are there as spectators. They're watchers. They're lurkers in the background. And you may not be able to tell who's who. And a lot of times we're challenged because we are trying to navigate, how do I feel in the midst of navigating a problem or navigating other people's observation of us. So we're tempering our own feelings. We're adjusting to being watched. And I'm here to tell you that each one of those cameras has a role to play. Each one of those cameras is going to share information with a group of people that you'll never see, you'll never engage with. And there's a similar angle when I think about career, when I think about the work that you're doing to be able to build success as you define it. There are people who will be there to support you and fans who are cheering in the stands who just cannot get enough of opportunities to be able to be associated with your success because they're excited for you and they want the very best for you. And then there are people who are just lurkers. Maybe they're even detractors. Maybe they're even haters. Maybe they're even doubters, right? And we're constantly in an environment where there are doubters, there are haters, there are naysayers that are within arm's reach, minutes away, seconds away, on the other side of your cubicle wall, on the other side of your office door, in the audience during your lecture, in the audience during your presentation, in the audience during your pitch, where there are doubters who are right in our midst. And I'm so inspired by the Olympic experience because those athletes have conditioned themselves to acknowledge there will be doubters and detractors. But I'm going to find my fans. I am going to look up into the stands of the people who will support me, or I'm going to look at my peers, my competitors, my coaches, my team, and I'm going to look to them when I'm feeling frustrated or when I'm feeling like I'm nervous or when I'm feeling overwhelmed or whatever I'm feeling. I'm going to look to the people who are assigned to me to get me through whatever it is I'm feeling or struggling. And I'm going to do some work myself. I'm going to go within and I'm going to figure out for myself, what are the words that I need to say to myself? What are the things that I need to think about in that moment so that I can navigate through this and not give energy to my doubters, to my detractors. Now, for some of us, our doubters are on our team. They sit in the cubicle next to us. They sit outside the conference room where we do our presentations, and we feel their energy. The doubters are always around. And I'm here to tell you they're never going to go away. Here's an example. And I know that this one has been well treaded, so I won't spend a ton of time on it. But the GOAT, the greatest gymnast of all times, Simone Biles. Greatest gymnast of all times, argue with somebody else. I have no desire to participate. The data says she's the greatest gymnast of all times, most decorated American gymnast of all times. So we know that. The evidence says it. The medals say it. The competition says it. Her peers say it. Everyone who is of a level worth acknowledging says she's the greatest of all times. Meanwhile, she had to take almost over a year off from the sport, from public competition, so that she could do the work on herself, so that she could hire a mental health professional or continue to partner with one that she already had and literally go to therapy to retrain her mind to do what she was really capable of, but also to untangle all of the thoughts and all of the things that she may have ingested or may have taken in from listening to doubters or from navigating professional athleticism and gymnastics at the highest level. So I love her story because you guys know that I'm biased. I took a sabbatical away from work in my corporate role years ago, and that sabbatical transformed me. It transformed me because I took an opportunity to escape to withdraw into myself, into my loved ones, into my safe space. And that time allowed me to adjust holistically to my own needs and to avoid the cameras and the watchful eyes of the doubters so that I could rejuvenate and replenish myself. And I upgraded so much the people around me, the coaches, the therapists, as well as my own self-talk. So in that time where Simone Biles, who is by far the greatest gymnast of all times, had to take a break, had to step away, had to focus on her mental health and well-being in order to continue to operate at the level she was. If she would not have taken that break, what impact would it have been? We don't know, because she did what was best for her and she returned even better. She returned triumphant. I think oftentimes there is a perception of grind it out. Resilience looks like staying in the fight. And I disagree. I think resilience looks like doing what's best for you so that you can live to be successful in your own terms, on your own terms. So maybe that means stepping away. Maybe that means taking a break. Maybe that means leaving the organization. Maybe that means not putting yourself in a position for a promotion at that period in time. Maybe that means taking a chill pill, like really falling back and giving yourself the opportunity to do what's best for you. Because competition will always be there. And oftentimes other people can't make a decision that's best for you. So obviously Simone is exceptionally capable, has a ton of supporters. She has endorsements. She has, strong compensation. So she has the privilege of being able to step away. And I recognize that it is a sincere privilege. But I want you to think about her story and her experience and how can you figure out a way to make sure you're taking the best care of you. And at minimum, I'd love to give you the opportunity to rethink your self-talk. As we think about taking time away and taking a step back from the public eye, and that public eye for you might just be your office. It might just be the company that you're keeping. It might just be a client for a period of time. If you can't step away from it completely, I sincerely want you to upgrade your own self-talk. How are you speaking to yourself? Are you giving yourself words of affirmation and encouragement? Are you believing in yourself on a consistent basis, even when things aren't going the right way? And a great example for this is, I like to call it a top 40 hit list. Remind yourself of the things that you've already done. Remind yourself about the things that you've already accomplished and use those things as evidence to convince your brain that you can accomplish even more things, even greater things. And when I think about Simone Biles and I think about her preparing to go onto the vault or to go into the floor routine, you see her mouthing to herself, "You got this. You can do it. This is your time." You see her mouthing these words, and that is a sincere demonstration of self-talk. And I want to encourage all of us to upgrade our self-talk, even when we're experiencing adversity or frustration. How we talk to ourselves matters tremendously. So I'd like you to do this. Make a list of the top 10 things that you have already done. Now, this is evidence-based reprogramming of your own brain. Remind yourself of the 10 things that you are most proud of, the most impactful accomplishments that you've ever demonstrated. And these things are including work, they're including school, they're in your personal life, they're in your community, they're in your place of worship. Those top 10 things will absolutely be an amazing reminder to put more wind under your sails as you're navigating what might be a difficult season. So if you're trying to figure out, I want to upgrade my self-talk, but how do I go about doing it? Write those 10 things down. Remind yourself on those 10 things. I call them bringing your receipts. So it's your top 40 list of absolutely amazing successes. If you can get to 40 things, then you're on an absolute roll. And then those receipts, all of that documented evidence of your success will then allow you a foundation to refer back to when you're feeling frustrated, when you feel like you're under the gun, when disappointment is knocking on our door, because disappointment is coming. We all know it. No, none of us are immune to disappointment or immune to not reaching some of the goals that we set for ourselves. We're all human and we're doing the best we can. So I absolutely loved watching the Olympics, participating from my living room and cheering on what I am completely inspired by and the greatness that is in front of me. But I want you to take these 3 things away. Number 1, celebrate your now. Celebrate the fact that you made it to this point, because lots of people didn't, or lots of people are still aspiring to it. So celebrate your now. Number 2, there will always be doubters. There will always be detractors. There will always be people who don't understand. There will always be people who want to underestimate you. So acknowledging that there will always be doubters, but finding your fans, finding your community, finding your coaches, finding your support staff, finding your people so that you can continue to navigate and be the best version of yourself is an absolute game changer. And we see it all over the Olympics. And we see it in professional life. And then the third thing is upgrade your self-talk. Write your 40 hit list, your 40 item hit list to let me know and let you know what you've done and what you've accomplished for yourself over the past few years, even if you don't ever want to share it. This exercise is an evidence-based experience that will retrain your neural path in your brain. So get to the place where you can write down that hit list and bring those receipts to yourself to be able to encourage yourself to continue to pursue what you have on the horizon. So I have an announcement for you all, and I was supposed to say it at the top that I have an announcement. I totally forgot. You guys know it's my authentic truth. I run fast. Once we get into this, I get super, super excited about the content, but I have an amazing announcement. It is official. And if you are a member of our newsletter, you will have seen this in the newsletter that went out this morning. If you're not a member of the newsletter, head over to gemsforthejourney.com so you can get exclusive newsletter content directly into your inbox before anybody else sees it. This announcement is that I am going to be a vendor at the Pennsylvania Conference for Women. So the Penn Women Conference has been around for a really long time, and it's a very much full circle moment for me. I went to the Penn Women Conference as an attendee, I want to say 12 years ago. And while I was in the room, I thought, oh, this is such an amazing experience. Not to mention Michelle Obama was the keynote speaker when I went. So there's that. But that conference really inspired me because I was surrounded by this group of really accomplished women. And there were so many fire speakers and exhibitors and people who were just in the space looking for inspiration, looking for something new, or looking to network and build relationships. And it paid off for so many of them. It paid off for me specifically. So now to come full circle and be a vendor at the Penn Women Conference, I am so excited. I am over the moon. I'm super thrilled. It's going to be hosted in Philadelphia on November 7th. And I really want everyone who is in the Philadelphia region, anybody who is local, Philadelphia, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, anybody who is following me and wants to be able to meet me in person and catch the vibes from an in-person experience, you should absolutely come and meet me there. So I'll be trickling out a little bit more information about booth location and details and all of the amazing giveaways and everything that we're going to have to offer while we're there at the conference. But I absolutely wanted to share that with you here today. And I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to meet me live. And you'll see in the newsletter once you get the opportunity is that this was well outside of my comfort zone. You all know I'm on this platform and I'm behind a camera in my little safe space in my office. And this was an opportunity for me to push well outside of my comfort zone and do something that I had never done and really close the loop on this full circle moment so many years later. And I'm thrilled, I'm excited for it, but I'm a little nervous. So I would love for more of the people that I've been able to ride with virtually on LinkedIn Live as well as YouTube to drop in and to be able to be a part of the experience. The vibes are going to be amazing. And I am looking forward to being able to engage and bring new conversations, build new relationships, collaborate with people, and just be in an amazing space. So I look forward to all of you visiting me there. I will continue to give you guys announcements and updates, but if you want exclusive early updates on what's happening on Career Gems for the Journey overall, join our newsletter at gemsforthejourney.org. And you'll get all of the content before anybody else. And you'll know exactly where we are and exactly what we're doing. And it goes directly to your inbox. You don't have to do anything but read. So it's been amazing being back with you. I'm so very excited to be back live consistently. I'll see you next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And until then, make your journey work for you. And I look forward to connecting with you soon.